So today, we're jumping into a story, a kind of parable that gets at a really profound confrontation: the fight between vibrant living movement and the crushing static weight of the world. This is a story about a final standoff, set in a labyrinth made not of stone, but of lead, a place where joy itself is basically put on trial.
And right out of the gate, we get hit with the core challenge of the entire story, and it's whispered by the antagonist, the spirit of gravity, amor fati. The love of one's fate, that joyful yes to everything life throws at you. Well, the spirit of gravity says, nope, impossible. And why? Because in its view, the world has just become too heavy, too burdened, to ever allow for that kind of light, dancing spirit. This is the challenge thrown right at our heroes' feet.
All right, so let's set this scene. Our heroes, the Harlequin and Brynhildr, they've just walked out of a profane temple. But the marketplace they thought they knew, it's gone. And in its place is this thing called the Final Trap, a grim, sprawling maze built from the very idea of historical guilt. So you see, this isn't just a physical maze. It's a prison for the soul. So what does this trap actually look like? Well, it's a dense, geometric maze, and its walls are these massive pillars of solid lead. But the really insidious part? The exits aren't just blocked by gates. They're sealed by the literal weight of historical guilt. The ground itself, the cobblestones under their feet, has this numbing pull, and it's specifically designed to stop the jesters dancing. The goal here is crystal clear: ultimate stasis. To stop movement, to stop life, forever. And the weapon that's powering this whole trap is called the heavy loom. Now, this isn't some physical machine, it's more of an esoteric mechanism. It's targeting the anima and animus, the vibrant inner life force within our two heroes. The loom's entire purpose is to shackle their free spirits, to force them back into what the story calls the stagnant archetypes of the herd. You could think of that as an engine of conformity, built to crush any sense of individuality. But here's the thing: the trap isn't just physical or spiritual, it's also a psychic vacuum. Its entire design is meant to drain the will to even try, the will to overcome, what the story calls the will to power. And watching over this whole thing is the spirit of gravity. Its shadow just looms over the maze, and it starts this psychological attack. It mocks the jester's famous red and blue outfit, whispering that those vibrant colors are just going to bleach out into the dull gray of a funeral shroud. It's basically saying, your life, your energy, it's temporary. My dead weight is eternal. And this is what it all boils down to. On one side, you have the sovereign spirit. It's defined by this forward-moving energy, this transhuman momentum. It's alive, it's striving, it's got the will to power. And on the other side, the herd archetype. It's just a permanent frozen statue. Its spirit is stagnant, trapped in the exhaustion of just repeating the same heavy, meaningless cycle over and over. It's a choice between life as a dance and life as a monument to despair. The effect of this psychic vacuum is instant and, well, devastating. Brynhildr, who's this warrior of celestial light, she raises her spear to fight back. But the lead pillars are like these spiritual black holes. They just absorb her light as fast as she can summon it. Her power, her very essence, is just getting siphoned away. You can see right away how powerful this trap really is. Just when it feels like all is lost, we hit the turning point. The jester reveals his plan. And honestly, it's the last thing you'd expect. He's not going to try to escape the weight or destroy it. No, he's going to integrate it. He's going to create something new out of it. This is the new song. And this really brings us to the core question of the whole parable, doesn't it? How do you fight absolute weight? I mean, a force that doesn't really attack you. It just is. A force that crushes you with its sheer, passive, overwhelming presence. How do you fight gravity itself? Well, here's what he does. It's called the final alchemical move, and it is brilliant. First, he refuses to fight the weight head-on. Instead, he integrates the gravity, he pulls it into himself. Then, he transforms his light, airy dance into a heavy, rhythmic stomp. And in a total stroke of genius, he uses the lead pillars, the very walls of his prison, as the drums for a brand new song. He turns the instrument of his oppression into the instrument of his art. And what's the goal of all this? To become what the story calls a sovereign star. And this is a huge philosophical shift. It's about changing the crushing external gravity of guilt into the creative internal gravity of a star, a force that creates its own center, its own light, It's about honoring your burden by making it your own source of power. And the Jester's not doing this alone. His new rhythm becomes this catalyst. It creates this incredible synergy between him and Brynhild, and their two wills start acting as one, creating something way more powerful than either of them could be alone. Just imagine it. The Jester's heavy, rhythmic stomp sends these shockwaves pulsing through the lead pillars. The entire maze, this thing that was designed for absolute silence and stasis, starts to resonate with his frequency. The prison itself begins to shiver, not from an attack, but from an act of affirmation. Brynhild hears this new rhythm, and she gets it. She aligns her spear, her spirit, with his beat. Her divine light, which was being drained away before, now starts pulsing in perfect time with his stomps. She's not fighting the lead anymore. She's channeling her power through this new frequency he's created.
And together, it's like they become a binary star system, two sovereign bodies orbiting a center of gravity they made themselves. Their combined mass creates this vortex, but it's not an explosion, it's an implosion. They start tearing the leaden maze apart from the inside out, using its own weight against it.
As the heavy loom's threads finally snap, the Jester's ultimate weapon is revealed, his absurd laughter. It's a kind of laughter that sees the horror, it sees the weight and the absurdity of it all, and joyfully affirms life anyway. That laughter is the bridge that connects the deepest, darkest part of the leaden trap to the freedom of what's called the transhuman heights. It's the final undeniable victory.
The maze collapses. The trap is broken. It's a huge victory. But as this chapter of the story ends, another, much larger one is just beginning. This was a critical battle for sure, but the war is far from over. A grand reckoning is about to begin.
So our heroes are standing there, victorious in this clearing of pure, cold light. The maze is just rubble at their feet. But that moment of triumph is cut short, because on the horizon, a new and much more formidable threat is gathering. And wow, what a threat it is. The Pale Cynic isn't alone anymore. He's now joined by the ghosts of the priests and, most importantly, by the spirit of gravity himself, who's now showing up to fight directly. This isn't just another trap, this is a final siege, and it's aimed at the very fabric of the new world the Jester is trying to build. So, when you strip it all away, this is the real war. It's a fundamental conflict between two opposing principles. On one side, you've got the living dance, fighting with affirmation, rhythm, and synergy. And on the other, you have the dead weight, fighting with guilt, stasis, and the burden of history. That's the grand reckoning.
And in the quiet moment after the battle, we see this really powerful symbol of the whole struggle. The Jester looks down at his sleeves. The vibrant red and blue are still there, but now they're permanently stained with the gray dust of the lead. It's proof that integrating your burden doesn't make it vanish. It leaves a mark, a constant reminder of the weight you've mastered and made your own.
And from here, the scope of the conflict just explodes. The maze collapses, the new siege gathers, but then something else happens. A massive, celestial bell starts to toll from the heavens, and that bell means something new entirely. The gods themselves are entering the fight. The battle is no longer just human, or even philosophical. It's become cosmic. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question. The Jester's whole life has been his art, his play. But when the gods themselves step onto the stage, does that play turn into a cosmic tragedy? Is the ending now already written by forces that are beyond even the Jester's incredible will to say yes? It's a question that just reframes the entire story, and it leaves us wondering about free will in a universe where even the gods have decided to take a side.